Okay, so I've dropped out of art school a few times. I've worked as a freelance artist. I've done a bunch of stuff. You can check out my CV on my website if you want more details. God, there's so much bad advice out there, and I thought I would just have a little chat about probably the worst advice, because I'm seeing more and more of it. I think the number one worst piece of advice is to sell your art on Etsy. Also known as, turn your hobby into a side hustle, or your passion into a side hustle. I think part of it is this millennial culture of knowing that we're going to not be able to afford housing, and so we work multiple jobs and get into this mindset that we have to monetize art making, or it's not like adding value to our life or not worth it. I spent months painting Patronus portraits on Etsy to pay my rent, and it made me not want to touch watercolors for the next year. Don't sell your art on Etsy if you don't genuinely want to. Make money some other way. Don't suck the life out of art making. In a similar vein, don't make art for others to fund your personal art. If you focus solely on commissions to have the money to fund your art making, you will not get around to it. There's so many good examples of this in my personal life, in many others. There's so many art YouTubers that talk about this. There's an episode in Daria where Jane makes Van Gogh copies and her hand starts hurting when she paints, and she doesn't find painting fun anymore because it's a job.
Trent, if I had a spare moment, I sure as hell wouldn't spend it painting.
Whoa.
My arm's getting tired, damn it. I never used to.
And that's not the case for everybody, but I feel like this advice is thrown around so often that it's become like gospel, and it does not work for everybody. I'm reading Killing Commendatore at the moment, which is a Murakami novel about a portrait painter who kind of just abandoned painting whatever he wanted, to the point where his wife was kind of like, you're not the guy I married anymore, you just paint portraits as a job. It's like an artisanal skill rather than an art. And she leaves him. There's a whole other bunch of stuff, but there's so many examples of people, falling out of love with art because of this particular problem. You don't need inspiration, you just need to put in the work. Inspiration is the soul of art. Work is the skeleton. A body without a soul is just a vessel that is empty. It's a zombie. And I feel like too often we focus on building your art skills and spending hours and hours painting or drawing or sculpting, rather than thinking about the things that made you want to create art in the first place and using those as a guiding force. Bust through art block. No, you need rest. I've told my friends this many times. A flower does not bloom through every season, and you shouldn't expect yourself to either. I have so many quotes up my sleeves. It's just really cruel to expect yourself to be able to produce work all the time. You're not a machine. Similarly, make art every day. If you don't wake up wanting to make art every day, you're not an artist. Again, I am not a machine. I love art, but it is not the center point of my entire universe. I love nature, I love cooking, I love friends, I love slow living, I love soft furnishings and cats and jazz, and all those things make me a good artist. But my everyday life is for me to exist, not for me to create. Find your personal style. You won't. I see so many YouTubers making videos about how to find your personal style because it's so tempting to have a shortcut. You don't find your style, it finds you. Chuck Palahniuk said, "Nothing of me is original. I am the combined effort of everyone I've ever known." Our personalities are mosaics. We take a little bit from everyone we know and we're interested in and we find, you know, lovable. And that's how we build who we are. Same as the whole, you know, just be yourself. You will create that yourself. You will realize that all of the things around you are influencing your art and are influencing you. Surround yourself with people you love, with things you love, and slowly you will realize that everything just comes together naturally. Don't force it. Don't try and go on this soul-seeking journey. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Instagram is so good for art. No, not at all. Not at all. Instagram is where art goes to die. Holly Exley made a really good video about it. I highly recommend you watch it. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but let me just say I have created and deleted Instagram multiple times, lost thousands of followers because I genuinely hate that platform, especially now that Facebook owns it. Pinterest is better for art, honestly. It actually looks at what you enjoy and recommends you things that are actually similar, not just sponsored shit. So that was quite depressing. Hopefully a little humorous, and you could look at it and say, hey, you know what, you're right. A lot of the stuff I do isn't bad. I just draw and I paint and I do whatever, and that's fine. So to encourage you a little bit further to not make this like a completely bad vibes video, which I hope it isn't, let's drop some good art advice. This is a classic, but learn the rules and break them. I did not want to learn how to draw in life drawing, and then after dropping out of art school, I paid personally to go to life drawing classes. I love to draw on plein air, going out and drawing landscapes and urban sketching. It's super valuable. Color theory. Learning rules of art is incredibly valuable. Whether or not you want to learn them is up to you, but learn the rules and then break them. It's way more fun. Don't with photographers, curators, or graphic designers. That's all I'm going to say about that. Make whatever it is you want to make. Pretty simple. Sketchbooks are supposed to be ugly. Cal Arts. Get your hands on as many mediums as you can and go wild. For the love of God, mix paint with a palette knife, not a brush. Oh, the humanity. Patience is the most important skill to have. In any endeavor, really. Learn to differentiate between valid criticism and criticism. Listen to the valid criticism. Prioritize being creative in everything you do. Believe you are great, and you will be. This was fun! Oh, I miss doing proper art videos. Have you guys met Gregory? He's a frog. And yes, he is named after Gregory from Over the Garden Wall. I didn't want to name him Benjamin Franklin because then all I would think of is Nick Cage in National Treasure, and my heart hurts too much. For the love of God, mix paint with a palette brush. What was that? I was so angry I couldn't get my words out. For the love of God, mix paint with a palette. It's like